There's bound to be times in your raw food lifetime where you go travelling, whether it be by car or boat or plane, and one of the most common questions that I get asked is, Karen, how on earth do you eat while you're on the move? As in, how do you stay raw specifically? And so what I'm going to be sharing with you today is some different ideas that you can utilise in your own life wherever you're going and however you're getting there, that hopefully you can put to use very quickly and easily, because these ideas really are very simple, but they do work. So, first things first, I'm going to introduce you to one of my favourite pieces of kitchenware, which is called the Aladdin Chill and Go. I'm always being asked what it's actually called. So if you just Google on Aladdin as a brand name, and Chill and Go is the actual container itself. And it comprises of a large salad pot, which actually can be chilled, which is why the name comes from, to keep a salad nice and cool. And then it has a separate container which screws on and goes on the top. So it's a really good all-round handy thing to have. Now, we're going to start with this, and we're going to look at what you would have potentially for a main course. So that would be obviously a salad type thing. So what I've got here is regular ingredients. I've got a mixed leaf salad here, which I'm going to pop in the bottom, because that's definitely the best place for it. Okay, and it means that if you're eating on the move and all you can use is a fork, or whether you can decant this onto a plate, it's still going to work. And we definitely need the green leaves in there. So that's the first part. And then the next layer that I like to do is some fresh baby tomatoes, because if you keep them small you won't have to cut them up, and then if you don't cut them up they won't oxidise. So that's what goes in next. Then for the final layer, as you can see here, I've got some crudité, I've got some carrot sticks, some cucumber, and red and yellow bell pepper. And the reason why I've included these is not just because they're easy to eat like this, but also because in the top part, I'm going to actually be putting some mushroom pâté. Now, we'll come to that in a second, but just know that there are other things you can put in the top compartment, but it is a really good idea to put in something quite solid that you can dip your crudité into. So with that in mind, you just want to make sure that you pack it in such a way where it's easy for you to access the things that you want. And nice variety of colour there, so it looks great as well. And you know, you will find actually, as I did, when you fly, even if you're on a long haul flight, that you don't actually need as much food as you think. So some of the other things I'm going to be sharing with you will take care of the rest. Alright, so that is the salad pot, okay, which is pretty full, looks really colourful from the outside. Doesn't weigh too much, and yes, you can put it in the fridge and keep it chilled until you leave. So moving on to the top part, this is where we're going to put in our mushroom pâté here. So we're just going to spoon it in, and you want to make sure that you pack it in as tightly as you can for all kinds of reasons, but obviously you want to get as much in as you possibly can. And if you don't like this particular recipe, then by all means put in something that you do like the cashew and macadamia cheese, or some thicker nut-based dip or dressing, whatever it is that you like. Maybe a guacamole even, if you're going to be able to keep it so that it doesn't oxidise and go brown. So that's that, and we just screw that lid on, and that keeps it nice and airtight. And as you can see, it's well packed in, and then you just screw the lid on, and you're good to go. So that's the main course taken care of. Now when it comes to dessert, what I have in mind here is a few things really. I've got a normal Tupperware container here, and the ones with these grippy lids on are much better because they don't leak. You can actually clip everything into place, so if the box does get turned upside down in your bag, you're going to be okay. And what I'm bringing in here, but it can be really anything, is some carrot cake, some raw carrot cake, which travels really, really well. And it will fit in just like this, and because of the nature of this particular cake, you can actually squish it in to fit. So you can actually pack the whole container. And because it's nice and light, you'll still feel satiated with it, but you won't feel too heavy. And you'll actually feel like you've had a dessert. And if you don't fancy the salad, of course, you can just have this. So that is that. And honestly, that is plenty enough. And if you are on board a flight, then you'll just, you know, have cutlery automatically given to you and you can just eat it with that, or you can take some with you. Then finally, you might wish to add a few things on top. You might choose to add some fruit, but because there's coconut in this recipe, just going to add some coconut in, and that is your dessert taken care of very quickly and easily. Now talking about snacks, I mean obviously fruit is the most natural choice when it comes to travel. Got two different bananas here obviously. One is much riper than the other one, and I do recommend that if you're flying that you would err on the side of caution and take one that's slightly unripe or less ripe, because very ripe bananas can sweat immensely in packaging, and you know, by the time you come to eat it, it would be brown and horrible, and probably even had gushed all over your bag and all that kind of thing. So I would definitely recommend that you go for the less ripe version. And then you want things that are easy to peel. So we've got some satsumas here, which are very easy to handle, and apples are always a winner, honestly, because they're just never going to make a mess in your bag, and they're always going to be enjoyed and satiate you. So that's the fruit side of things. And then if you fancy having something just to nibble on for being in the car or keeping in your glove box, that kind of thing, or if you still think you want more food, then I recommend you create some kind of trail mix. And really all you need is a Tupperware container, some nuts or seeds or something of your choice, and I'm using pistachio nuts here, and then maybe some dried fruit. Obviously raisins are a natural choice, so I'm going to mix some of those in. And then we have some almonds over there, which I'm going to top off with. And again, you know, if you don't like these particular nuts or raisins, then just put in whatever you want. And then all you need to do is give it a good shake, mix it all up, and you've got a trail mix. Now all of these things should be able to get on a plane okay, especially if you're travelling from the UK overseas or vice versa. It's usually interstate that there can be problems, but as long as you make sure they're not high liquid content, then you should be absolutely fine. As you can see, what you've got here is certainly enough to take care of you for a long haul flight, because it's all nutrition dense, it's all going to fill you up and it's all going to taste fantastic. So happy travels.